Hello, and welcome to another episode in the Georgia Workers' Compensation video series. My name is Jason Perkins. I'm an attorney who specializes in handling Georgia workers' compensation cases. I created this series of videos to provide people who've been hurt at work in Georgia with helpful information about Georgia's workers' compensation laws and the benefits they should receive under those laws. Now, let's jump straight into today's topic. Today, I want to talk to you about workers' compensation truck accidents. One of the most common type of accidents involving a large truck is a motor vehicle accident, where an 18-wheeler, a box truck, a dump truck, or some other type of large commercial truck collides with one or more other vehicles. Now, if you're injured in a truck accident and you're on the job, you may be entitled to workers' compensation benefits. There are some things that you need to think about if this happens, though. First is this could apply regardless of whether you're driving the truck or whether you're in another vehicle, but also on the job at the time that the motor vehicle accident happens. And one thing is, in addition to a workers' compensation claim, you might also have a personal injury claim. The workers' compensation claim is a claim against your employer and their workers' compensation insurance company. And there are certain benefits that you can receive in the workers' compensation claim. A personal injury claim is usually a claim against another party that caused your injuries. And you generally can't pursue a personal injury claim against your employer. You get workers' compensation instead. But if another third party was responsible for your injuries and it was their negligence or carelessness that caused those injuries, then you might also have some sort of personal injury claim. It's important to be aware that these are two different claims and there are different deadlines that apply and different rules as far as what you have to do in order to receive these benefits. So if you're injured in a motor vehicle accident and you're on the job, one of the questions you need to ask is, do you have a workers' compensation claim? And the other is, do you have a personal injury claim? Because you may very likely be able to pursue both, and there can be advantages to doing that. And this can be the case whether you are driving the large truck or whether you're driving one of the other vehicles in the motor vehicle accident. Now, if you're the driver of the large truck, another common question that comes about when a motor vehicle accident occurs is, what state can you file your workers' compensation claim in? If you're a long haul truck driver, you may drive through many different states on one particular run. And so you may be injured in a state that's different than the one where you live in or where your employer is located. When this happens, you may be eligible to file a workers' compensation claim in the state you were injured, but you might also be able to file a workers' compensation claim in the state where your employer is located or where you live. Now, each state has different workers' compensation laws. So some states might allow you to file a claim when your employer is located there. Some states might allow you to file a claim when you live there. It's just going to depend on what the particular laws of that state say. But you do need to think about that you may be eligible to file a workers' compensation claim in a state other than the one where you were injured. And in that situation, it's important to look at the workers' compensation laws of each state where you would be able to file a claim so that you can determine which claim, which state would be most beneficial for you. Now, there are other types of large truck accidents other than just motor vehicle accidents. If you work driving a large truck, you're aware that this is a physical job. You have to climb in and out of the cab of the truck. I've known many truck drivers who get injured as they're trying to climb into their truck or when they're trying to climb out of the truck. They might slip and fall. They might injure their ankle, their knee, their shoulder, their back. So that's just one type of other accident that can occur. Now, another thing that can happen is some truck driving jobs require drivers to help load or unload the truck. If this involves heavy items, it's not uncommon for somebody to suffer a back or a shoulder injury when they're loading or unloading. Another thing is when you have to hook or unhook your trailer. This can be physically demanding. You may suffer a fall. You could hurt your back as you're hooking or unhooking the trailer. So there's many different types of injuries that can occur. Now, if you're a truck driver and you're injured on the job and you pursue a Georgia workers' compensation claim, there are certain things that you need to be sure and do. The first thing when you get injured is you need to make sure that you report your injury to your employer. Georgia workers' compensation law requires you to give notice. Now, the law gives you 30 days to do that, but usually the sooner you do it, the better, because this is what's going to lead to you being able to get medical treatment under workers' compensation. If you suffer an injury, one of the things that you want to do to get better is to get medical treatment, likely as soon as you can. Now, getting medical treatment under Georgia workers' compensation law can be tricky. I've made a lot of videos in the Georgia workers' compensation video series about getting medical treatment. One of the things that you need to make sure is that you get in and see a fair and qualified doctor. This is going to go a long way to making sure that you get the treatment you need and that you receive the benefits that you should under workers' compensation. Now, one other thing to be aware of is if you suffer a serious injury at work, that you may have some wage loss as a result of that injury. Truck driving, as I mentioned earlier, is a very physically demanding job. If you suffer an injury that makes it difficult for you to get in and out of the truck or to hook and unhook your trailer, or if you have to do loading and unloading, it may be very difficult to return to that type of work while you're still suffering limitations from your injury. So you want to be sure that if you're missing time from work, that the workers' compensation insurance company is paying you wage loss benefits as a result of that. Georgia's workers' compensation laws, as well as the laws of other states, can be very tricky. Insurance companies generally want to pay you as little as possible on your workers' compensation case. That's usually not personal, it's really business. There are companies that are for-profit businesses, so the more money they pay to you, the less money they make. But that's going to lead to them trying to pay you as little as possible. If you don't understand the law completely, it can be very difficult to make sure that you receive the benefits that you should receive. One of the best tips that I can give to you if you suffer serious injury at work is to be sure and reach out to a workers' compensation attorney to ask them questions. I hope you found the information in this video helpful. If you have, please consider two things before you go. First, I'd really appreciate if you give this video a like or a thumbs up, and consider subscribing to this channel if you'd like to be notified of future videos in the Georgia Workers' Compensation video series. Second, if you've got workers' compensation questions, please reach out to get answers. I offer free consultations in Georgia workers' compensation cases. If you'd like to set one of those up, there's two easy ways you can do so. The first is by calling the phone number at the bottom of the screen, and the other is by reaching out to us through our website, which is www.perkinslawtalk.com. Just click on and submit the pre-consultation request form there, and a member of our team will reach out to you and get a consultation scheduled. I'd like to thank you again for watching this video today. I'd like to wish you the best of luck as you recover from your injuries.